welcome everybody. We're back with today's question. It looks like this one, this is coming from a hypnotist. Very interesting. It says, Vinny, I have an over the analytical client. What's the best way to confuse them? It's a client that's using his mind a lot, not like me. And he's stating that he overanalyzes everything. I think this is a great opportunity to use his behavior and lure his over analytical mind with a confusion bait. It's a very good question. I think one thing we need to take a step back and realize, like, that client we already know that client can go into trance because they have a problem. And right, the problem occurs in that unconscious, conscious misalignment. It's like an old Erickson thing. So because they have a problem, we have evidence that that person can go into trance. Right? They have to go into trance to create it, in a sense. You don't necessarily have to use confusion. And if you've ever had a client in front of you with a major breakthrough, they're going to start saying things like they're going to have these wild epiphanies. They'll start processing it right in front of you. Sometimes they connect what they learned to every part of their life. They'll like spontaneously regress. It's just interesting what can happen. They might talk in these interesting metaphors, but they're not going to consciously remember all that. You don't really need to like do amnesia with them, because that epiphany is so wild for them, it's already overwhelmed their conscious mind. Right? There's so many things happening at once, and all these like really cool spontaneous insights. And I tend to trust that their mind will know what it needs to remember consciously versus not. Now I do think at some point you want to end the session. You want to demarcate it, essentially, right? We want to bring them back consciously. There's simple ways of doing that. You probably already know a bunch. But it's just, the reason I value that is because I don't want their conscious mind to I want it out of the way. I want it thinking about something else. I want them active with that. What's your favorite TV show? You could ask them whatever, just what time is it? Ask them all those types of questions. Get their mind reoriented to the reality of the moment. That way their unconscious mind can continue to process this breakthrough. I see a lot of folks out there, a lot of training out there, and it's just not the way I work. I'm just highlighting it. They might say, hey, you've got to talk really fast, and then you can embed certain commands. Like they're trying to install something in the person's mind. I don't work that way because I don't know for sure what the real problem is. So that's one thing. And then secondly, the suggestion is really my assumption. I would rather have it come from the client, right? As their mind solves this problem. I've seen folks say, well, you got to talk odd language. You got to use funny questions. So what time is it? When time is it? How time? Like people this is a real thing. And they're just trying to create an additional layer of confusion, and they're hoping that they can again slip in a suggestion. But there's that old saying out there that entities shall not be multiplied beyond necessity. And if we want to work really fast and get breakthroughs, we can't do that by adding things. We have to take away stuff. So I think that's important to consider, right? Probably not exactly the type of information you were looking for. It's genuinely how I work with folks, so I can't comment too much on the other stuff. There is like a multi-dimensionality to the mind, and I just would rather utilize all of its resources to help that client solve the problem versus coming in with an idea like, this guy's analytical, I'm gonna confuse him, right? You'd have no way of knowing what's going on there. So some strategies for working with analytical people, you can speak in broader terms, right? Get them to think big picture, get them to think more metaphorical, because their mind's doing something very precise. You can get more vague. You could have them focus on sensations, right? I'm not saying lead them. You don't want to lead them to anything, but just draw their attention, have them notice sensations. As they notice those sensations, that analytical mind can actually be very helpful. You can start to ask them questions about what they're noticing. Boy, oh boy, they're fun to work with, the analytics. Thanks so much for your question. Keep them coming. These are a blast. So take care, everybody.